Today on 21st Century Business, explore state-of-the-art technology, innovative business strategies, insights from cutting-edge corporations around the globe, a visionary look into the answers of tomorrow today. Business leaders, business solutions, 21st Century Business.
Welcome to 21st Century Business. I'm Jackie Bales. Every time we air our show, we focus on the solutions businesses offer that solve their customers' problems. And the array of ingenious solutions we've discovered in business today continues to surprise even us. However, what happens when an enterprise itself discovers it has internal problems that appear to be dramatically impacting their strategic objectives? Well, when the tables are turned, quite often businesses are caught off guard and can waste tremendous amounts of energy and money trying to fix the symptoms while leaving the problem itself untouched. Here to talk with us today about how businesses can optimize their performance is President and CEO of 4XOR Corporation, Terry Wharton. Terry is no stranger to problem solving, having worked with Oracle Corporation as well as serving 20 years in the United States Air Force. Terry has experienced firsthand the challenges that businesses and the leaders of those businesses face daily. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you, Jackie.
Terry, you have had just a fascinating career that seems to position you perfectly to be in the business of problem solving and performance optimization. Tell us a little about yourself and how life groomed you for this business.
So, Jackie, I think that probably had something to do with the military, spending 20 years in the military as an Air Force officer, facing all kinds of problems day to day, having to turn on a dime and solve a problem, sometimes not having a lot of money to solve the problem with. I think that's kind of helped me to transition into the corporate world.
And I'm going to just go ahead and mention your rank. You were a full bird colonel, and your specialty was?
That's correct, Jackie, and my specialty was electronic engineering.
Impressive. Now, you've also been described as being both creative and pragmatic. It's quite a dichotomy there. So how do those traits help companies handle the performance challenges they face today?
You know, creative, you're kind of involved in figuring out the solution, and being pragmatic, you have to be practical. So we're looking to be creative, be able to be more efficient, and then quickly be practical and solve the problem.
We're going to talk about this in depth in a moment, but first, on a high level, what do you and 4XOR Corporation do for your clients, and what does that name mean?
Well, Jackie, 4XOR is four, as in I have three other partners, so there are four owners of the company. X is X-Oracle, so X and OR is Oracle, so we are all 4X-Oracle executives.
Interesting. And what do you do for your clients?
We're enterprise business transformation companies, so we really focus on optimizing business performance. We focus on real problem solving.
Well, let's meet some of the 4XOR team in this 21st Century Business Field Report.
4XOR Corporation, a leading provider of consulting services to Fortune 500 companies, understands that for a company to get transformational results, a thorough knowledge of the business problem must be developed.
The primary business problem that 4XOR helps clients resolve is how do you leverage technology to maximize business performance and gain competitive advantage.
The way 4XOR differentiates itself from its competitors really is, I would describe that in two areas. One is most of our competitors do work in one area, kind of a silo approach within an organization. Our approach is holistic by nature. Two would be the team that we've assembled within 4XOR. It really truly is a best in breed within the specialties of each area. From the competencies, we've got the highest level and highest quality of people in their respective specialties. And ultimately, from the leadership, starting with Terry Wharton, our CEO, it is a requirement that we conduct our business with the highest level of integrity, character, and honesty. And again, these are not suggestions within the corporation, these are requirements.
Employing 4XOR and their unique top-down, bottom-up approach to discovering the company's actual business problem sets the stage for true enterprise business transformation, aligning the company's efforts with their strategic objectives.
Struggling companies should choose 4XOR because we have walked in the shoes of business leaders, and we understand the need to return on your consulting services.
ForExOR's solution is unique based upon the process that we go through to arrive at that solution. By taking the right amount of time to understand the client's needs, objectives, and their current environments allows us to give very accurate and concise advice based upon their objectives.
Terry, when a client contacts you, what are they typically asking you to do for them?
Well, today, because technology plays such a huge role in every company, they're usually calling me to fix some technology problems. So they're thinking that they need a new software package or a custom solution that's going to make things better for them, whether it's solving a problem like customer satisfaction or just business efficiency. That's typically what they call us for.
So when you visit a new client, what do you discover as you begin the process of understanding their business problem?
So typically we find that what they call me for is not really what they need. and so then we work with them to kind of pull that together and help them solve the problem that they really have.
So how do you help a company align the work that's being done with the vision of the leadership so that they're spending money on enterprise initiatives that actually support their strategic objectives?
When we first visit a client, we want to work with the C-level and talk to them about the strategic objectives of their company. What are you trying to do? So as a business owner, I understand that I need objectives, and I'm going to reach those objectives by making those real inside my company. I'm going to operationalize them, and I'm going to make sure that all of my leadership is aligned and focused on meeting my objectives. Inside of company, then we're doing the same thing with them. We actually work with the C-level organization, understand their objectives, and then down inside the organization we want to make sure that the operational plans align with the strategic objectives. Oftentimes we find that they do not, and oftentimes we further find that the problem they're trying to solve doesn't have anything to do with the strategic objectives of the company. So if you're not, focused on the vision of the company, then clearly that impacts your revenue and cost and the business as a whole.
So you're seeing a real disconnect then between sometimes what the company is doing and what the executives
Almost always, Jackie, almost always. And so, really getting the C-level leadership to start thinking this way and to understand that they really have to push down their goals and objectives so that the people in the lowest level in the organization understand what they're working for.
Excellent point. What value do you think you bring to your customers when you use that approach?
Added to the bottom line. So the value we're bringing is increased revenues, reduced costs, customer satisfaction. We're really streamlining and optimizing their business, but because we're able to help them focus on what they should be working on.
Tell me what the reaction is of the executives when you bring this disconnect to their attention.
Shock usually, honestly, but you have to understand it because they're busy, they're focused on the strategy of the company, and a company with 50,000 employees, you're not going to know what they're doing every day, and you're not going to know that you've gotten down to all of those lower levels. And so it really is helping them to refocus their energies on making sure that some of this happens up front, and so then they can further optimize.
So what happens when you start working on the Enterprise Business Transformation Initiative? What can the customer expect?
So typically what happens is, in large, we take over their organization. So we set up a program management office that really manages what they're going to do from a strategic initiative perspective for the next 1 to 5 years. It depends on the size and scope of the program. And so we set up a program management office. We bring in leadership to handle that. We have lots of tools that we use, during this process. But that's the first thing that happens, is really getting that process aligned, which helps us then to build the business case, the ROI, and the KPIs so that we can focus on their company.
So tell us a little more about your methodology. I mean, you're talking about bringing in leaders and things like that. What do you mean?
When we bring in our methodology, the methodology starts from the top down and the bottom up. So again, we go back to, we want to make sure that the alignment, the strategic objectives are aligned with the operational objectives, and that's at the very highest piece. And the next thing we do then is to work with them to build the business case for the work that they're trying to do, which has the ROI, the return on investment, and honestly to really understand what problem they're trying to solve and what the key performance indicators are that makes them think they need us to do something. And then there's a very rigid process that we walk through to make this happen, starting from that business case and an ROI and really staying focused on it. But then it's people, process, and technology. And it's all of those pieces that make it work together.
Well, let's start with technology. How does technology fit into the mix? Obviously, you have a huge background in technology. How do you approach this part of it?
After business process, actually. So really, when we want to look at a company, we really want to look at how they're conducting business, because before I can tell you if you need new technology, different technology, or to fix your technology, I have to understand how you're using it. And how you're using it has everything to do with what the employees are doing every day. So we really start with business processes, and then that leads us to deciding if we need technology or not, and whether the technology is broken. So we really lead up to technology over time.
Well, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. What advice would you have for executive leadership as they face the growing challenges of being successful today?
Face the giant. If you're going to look at a enterprise business transformation initiative, the first thing you need to look at is really your strategy. So it really is about making sure that your strategy and your operational objectives are aligned before you take on any transformation. Oftentimes you'll find that you need to align that first, and then you can really focus on improving customer satisfaction, increasing your revenue, reducing your cost, just being more effective. But you really have to start with understanding where you're at.
And when you are working with clients, do you find that this is another one of those disconnect areas?
It's always a disconnect, Jackie. It's always a disconnect. I'm not sure why that as we go through and our businesses grow, that we get farther and farther apart from our objectives, but we seem to, and so this brings us back together.
What key indicators should an organization look for to help them assess whether or not they're working in the alignment that you described?
Most companies have a budgeting cycle, so that's a good place to look. When your organizations are aligning their budget for the year, and you need to look at what they're planning to spend on and making sure that their spend can tie back to operational objectives. And if you find that they're not, then that's a good way to start to think about if you need to realign.
What size organization do you think gets the most out of your approach?
So the thing that's unique about our approach is it's good for any size business. We all have things that we can improve inside our organization, and so whatever size company you are, you can optimize your performance.
Really? So small as a 10-person company, or smaller than that?
Small as any size company. We can always do better, and that really is what it's about, right? You want to increase your revenue, you want to grow your company, you want to keep your customers happy, and so through a particular method you can get there.
Excellent. What would you say differentiates 4XOR Corporation from your competitors?
So Jackie, I want to tell you, I don't think right now we have any competitors. I think up and coming in the market we will, but we don't right now. And what we have is we have companies that do bits and pieces of what we do. And so if you have business process companies that really focus on business process engineering, their specialty in that. And you have companies that are third-party integrators, system integrators, and they come in and implement your software. You have very few companies that really work strategically with large companies to kind of get them focused on their strategic objectives. So what we've done is taken all of our years of experience and put all of those pieces together, and then hired experts in those areas. And that's who we are, and that's how we're different, because we do it all. And it really makes a big difference when you can do it all.
Terry, thank you so much for being with us today and for explaining the solutions that 4XOR Corporation offers to the business community. Really interesting.
Thank you, Jackie, for having me.
For 21st Century Business, I'm Jackie Bales. Thanks for watching.